My name's Simon Ray. Our project is an 8,000 square foot house, which is part of a larger development that we've delivered over the last 5 years. We've got two 12 kilowatt heat pumps and a solar and battery arrangement. The house is effectively treated as two houses. There's a heat pump and cylinder for each wing, the east and west side, due to the nature and the long distances of the pipework. I've always had a passion for renewables and decarbonisation. So right from the start, we looked at heat pumps as an alternative to gas, and we also looked at NVHR and solar and batteries. And for me, the economics work, and the payback versus carbon reduction is important. And it was a unique selling point for the properties. We felt like we were building them for the future rather than looking into the past. Whilst we did have gas available into the development, I didn't really feel that it was the choice that we wanted to go down. So I worked really hard to find a partner that could deliver the value but give us the sort of surety. And it's fair to say that we learned some lessons in that first development. The brand that we went with and the contractor that we used turned out to be suboptimal. So when it came to building our own house, we learned those lessons, and I reached out through HeatGeek. I had a lot of questions, and I was armed with previous experience, so I suppose a bit more advanced than others. But right from the outset, I found Liam to be very knowledgeable and open and opinionated, strong opinions about what would work and what the industry was saying and what his experiences were. So that gave me a lot of comfort and peace of mind. I suppose I asked more questions than some, and we really kind of nerded out on some of the topics and looked at calculations, but it gave me a great deal of confidence that he was the right guy for the job. And then when it came to installation, absolutely first class. So totally professional, came in, did the job, tidied up, left. We've had next to no issues. Don't think we've actually had any issues at all. And yeah, it's just called back to Liam to talk about fine-tuning the system. So yeah, delighted with the service. So I suppose my biggest concern, especially when we're building houses for sale, was that the customer experience would be positive, that they would enjoy the benefits that were being advertised of lower running costs. It's very difficult because once you've committed to a heating system, it's very difficult to change. So the positive here was that we were able to oversize the pipework, oversize the radiators to suit the system. And especially, like I say, I've learned my lesson on these others, and I think we've got an optimal system now. But my concerns were that we were going to be cold in the winter, that our bills were going to be high, and that we were generally, locked into a technology that didn't have the longevity. Regarding the system operation, as I mentioned, we spent a lot of time trying to get the calculations right. That is the most important thing, and overcoming the worry of having rooms that are too cold, and especially in a large house like this, that's the big challenge. So I'm really delighted with the way that it's set up. The running costs are very low. They are kind of masked a little bit because I've got the holy grail of heat pumps, batteries and solar. So I don't use peak time electricity ever. So they're incredibly cheap to run because it's more competitive than gas. But even in as far as coefficients of performance, from a heating system point of view, it's over 6. I think it's peaked at around 6.4, which is very high. But we spent a lot of time making sure that we were getting the flow rates right, the temperatures right, the heat loss calculations right. So yeah, I'm really pleased. So my advice would be, I suppose it depends on your situation. So if you're building a new build, you would want to engage very early in the project before you commit to pipe sizes, pipe layouts. Don't treat it as it's an off-the-shelf solution. You've got to engage, you've got to design, and it's got to be done early before you commit to your physical works. If you're in a retrofit situation where you've got constraints in your system, again, I would contact Custom Renewables early to just make sure that it's suitable for what you want to do. There are a lot of parameters. It isn't just a fit and forget type solution.